I've been thinking about what is one of the most versatile, useful, indispensable items in my backpack when I go hiking and for my trip on the Appalachian Trail this year. And I think I've come to the conclusion it's actually my cell phone, which may be a surprising answer. I use it every single day in a whole variety of ways. So I wanted to do this video to show you exactly what software apps I'm using, what stickies I've created based on websites that I am finding really useful, what PDFs I have. And I'm also looking for your feedback and input. I have some great weather apps for New Hampshire and Vermont specifically, and for entire regions, but I'm guessing that some of the other states also have some really fantastic weather apps that I don't know anything about. So if you can leave me input, I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
This is my home screen for my iPhone XS. I'm guessing that it's pretty similar to what most of you have, but I thought I'd share with you in case there's some things that you haven't thought of or apps that you hadn't seen before, and I hope you'll do the same. Share with me some of the things that may be useful on my trip on the Appalachian Trail. Please don't think my phone is always this boring. I set the home screen background to be gray just so that you can see my apps better, but I will have some cute picture on there for the trail. This first page is my home screen. These are apps that I plan to use on a very regular basis. The second page, apps that I want on the trail, but probably won't use as often. And third page, apps that I'm not going to delete from my phone, but I won't be using on the trail at all. The top screen probably looks pretty standard for most people. My calendar, clock, Google Maps, and notes. Of interest in my notes is I have a folder set up for the AT. I have the AWOL PDF guide, which has some interactive updates to their maps on here, which is a nice feature. I also have pictures of some of the over-the-counter medications that I will be taking in little Ziploc bags. Since I won't have the packaging, I thought it was a good idea to take a picture of the packaging with the directions, and so that I could have that with me on the trail if I need to take Pepto-Bismol, for example. And then I also have my regular medications documented here, so if I do have to go to a clinic on the trail, I can easily pull out what medications I'm taking, since again, I won't have that packaging with me. Next line is reminders, setting, camera, weather. Weather is a really fabulous use of your iPhone. You do need to be, for some of these, you do need to have access to your connection. I'm lucky I have Verizon, which will give me probably the best access to the internet on the trail, but they won't always be accessible, and I am aware of that. My Radar is a really fabulous app that I particularly love during thunder and lightning season. You can see here some blue fuzzies up in Canada and over in New York. Those are some low-level storm activities, but in the summertime, when you have it zoomed in, I have this kind of in a broad view, but if you have this zoomed in literally to, 3 square miles around you, it will show you the storm cells above your head and all around you and how storms are moving and breaking up. This has been a really valuable tool for me to see where I am and what kind of dangers are around me and when they may dissipate. Mountain Forecast and AT Weather are not apps, but they're stickies that I've created from websites. Let's go ahead and look at what's happening up on Mount Lafayette in the White Mountains today. Change it to Fahrenheit. Boy, it's cold. -15 is the high today with a wind chill of -49 and winds 45 miles an hour. And we can see through the week what's going to be happening. Looks like it's going to be really nice come Monday. I hope some people are able to get out there and hike. So it shows the elevation and all sorts of information about what's happening in that area on certain days. So that is one, and the other one is the AT Weather, which is very similar. Again, it gives you the weather up on peaks instead of at the ground level, which, since we are hiking in peaks, this is helpful information. Weather Underground, on the other hand, is kind of ground level information on the weather around. Eye on the Sky and Mount Washington Observatory are state specific. If you have one that you know of for your state, I would love information on this. The Mount Washington Observatory is the higher summit forecast for all of the White Mountains. It is submitted twice a day, and first thing in the morning and then again in the evening, and gives great information on the forecast, not only for today, but coming up for the next few days. The Eye on the Sky is Vermont's version of a similar thing, where they have a recreational forecast that's really spot on and was really helpful when I was on the long trail. Again, if you know of others that are specific for your state for recreational use and for mountains, I would love to know them. Spotify, Amazon, GutHook. GutHook is a wonderful app that you've probably heard of, and I don't know if you've actually seen it used. I have just an example set up here of several days of hiking on the trail, and I can look at it from the map view. Let's go in and look at the approach trail. You can look at it from the map view, or you can look at it, oh, actually, this is going to bring us from Gooch Mountain Shelter to Lance Creek. I had a different area zoomed in, but it shows you the elevation gains. So if you're going up a mountain, you can see it'll have a little blue dot that is your beacon that will show you exactly where you are in proportion to the elevation, how much further you have to go on that day if you have set up an end spot for the day. It also has crowdsourced material, which is fabulous. Let's look at Lance Creek. 2 days ago, John Payton was there and left information about mice being active despite the cold weather. That's really good to know. So, this is the kind of information that if you can leave for other people is helpful. It's not as helpful to know exactly what was happening 6 months ago at this site, but to know what happened last week is fabulous. And we can find out about water sources. Again, people may be updating that. Back in November, the water source was good. So, that is GutHooks. EarthMate is my Garmin GPS interface. I will use this for mapping and so that my family can track where I am on the trail. That will be private information just for my family. And I can also do my satellite messaging from here if I don't have cell phone service. And I can get weather as well if I do not have internet connection. So that's my Garmin EarthMate. Social media is self-explanatory. Finances, I am the one in our family that does finances, and I will continue to do that on the trail. I am bringing Venmo with me, so if it turns out that we get to share a hotel room, we can split that up nicely, so make sure to install your Venmo app. My video editing software, I'm going to be using LumaFusion and iMovie, and then I'll be doing some photo manipulation with Canva and layout. Communication is mostly Messenger and FaceTime. WhatsApp is for international travel. I just happen to have it in that folder. And entertainment. I will definitely be listening to Audible books and books on my local library system, which is the Libby e-reader, you can do an e-reader or audio books. You just don't have control over when exactly you get the book, but it's a fantastic interface. And as well as podcasts and items that I can download from Netflix and Hulu. If you have ideas on podcasts that you think are great, I would love to hear them. I really am enjoying the 2180 as my kind of luxury indulgent podcast right now, Stories from the Trail, and I would love to hear what kind of things you're liking listening to. On to the second page, my health will give me my step count if I'm really interested or if I really feel like throwing it down and sending my friends at home a picture of how much I have accomplished that day versus their 10,000 steps for the day. You got to know I'm just teasing on this, but there's some truth to it. Gaia GPS is an amazing app if you're not using GutHooks or something else. This was a loop that my niece and I did, a 9-mile loop up in the Bald Faces in New Hampshire, northern New Hampshire, back in September. And it's similar to GutHooks. There's no crowdsourcing information, but it lets you know exactly where you are, what your elevation is, and all your hiking stats. Peak Visor, I can't open because it won't show you anything here, but if you are on a mountaintop, you can open this app and it will show you the different mountains you are looking at. I find myself in areas that I don't know looking out and saying, wow, I wish I knew what that mountain was that I'm looking at. And this is exactly the app that will do that. Once you spend some time in a region like the White Mountains, you really start getting a feel for where you are and what peaks you are, but it's always good to be able to check it up. iNaturalist will help me identify things on the trail, my travel apps, my productivity. I have my Google Drive on here so I can download documents that I have related to the trail or notes that I've made for myself or my husband has modified, and we can communicate that way. My shopping apps, my iWallet and my news, and soap notes. If you don't know what soap notes are, they are used in the medical profession to document information about a patient. So the idea of a soap note in the field is that if I came upon somebody, I could gather all of their basic vital statistics and their name and their mechanism of injury, and I could be passing this information, and I could also track their information over time until somebody more knowledgeable comes to help them. And I can pass this information off to the next person that comes along that is more qualified to help than I am. Again, thanks for your feedback, and I welcome your input on apps that you use on the trail that I might not know about. Thanks so much.